Hey guys, I'm going to talk about both my cubes, mainly the one on the left actually, even though this one, excuse me, is my new one. I'm going to change the water in this. I'm going to first use this turkey baster and gently kind of stir things up a little bit without disturbing or uprooting the plants. And then I will try to suck up as much as I can of that. When this lays on leaves, when your leaves are covered with dust, that greatly reduces, like 50 to 70%. It can disrupt your photosynthesis if you have dusty leaves. So make sure you're cleaning up your leaves, guys. Dusting them off. A little eyedropper or turkey baster tends to work really well. So this one right here, it just hit 4 months. I've done a 50% water change on it once. I'm going to do a 50%, no, not 50%. Parameters tested okay, no ammonia. I'm going to do about a 15% water change. This right here is stable water. It's very stable. It's got certain nutrients in it, bacteria populations in it, certain ratios of those bacteria. It is not just water. It is the water is part of the system. It's a component to the system itself, and you don't want to go out and changing a lot of it at once. At least when you have working with a microcosm or a very natural, low maintenance tank, because that is a key aspect of the tank itself and the balance of the ecosystem. I'm very happy with this. It's doing extremely well. I just trimmed it up. As you can see, it looks pretty trimmed and kind of unkempt, but I've never been one for looks. I'm more about the ecology. This has everything that I originally put in it. It has 2 shrimp. I don't know, maybe 10 snail or so, and now it has about 8 arthropods, also known as scuds. And it has copepods in it. It has clam shrimp in it. It has planaria in it. And it has, and I'm proud of this because it signifies the health of the ecosystem, it has hydra in it. And hydra are little jellyfish, freshwater jellyfish. I can't show you one because they're extremely small and they're barely visible with a magnifying glass. But they eat these. Where is it? Is that a guy there? They eat copepods and other very small things like the clam shrimp. Anything you can get its tentacles around and eat. It looks like a tree trunk with like 5 tentacles. And it'll eat. I think the planaria and something else is preying on the baby snails because this is not overrun with snails. And if there was nothing preying on the snails, you guys know how these snails are, these pest snails. They will breed like crazy. And something is keeping them in check. So that's good. So that's my ecosystem the food web is very put together. A few things that I believe help that. First off, this substrate, I didn't add anything else besides a few crumbs of fluval stratum for some micronutrients. All of this here is, I started this out with nothing in here but tap water, dechlorinated tap water, and duckweed. And I just let that duckweed grow and get cluttered and block itself out of light and then die, and it just built itself up. At the end of 3 months, I had water that was nitrogen rich because this is a nitrogen fixer, and that's actually why it's on top and why I use it. Not just because it looks good. It takes nitrogen and it turns it into a usable form from the atmosphere, and when the duckweed dies, it deposits that nitrogen as one of the macronutrients into the tank. It also is a bioreactor because as it's decomposing, releasing those nutrients, it is also, the bacteria doing the decomposition are also releasing CO2. So it's kind of like a neat little bioreactor going on. Back here I have driftwood, and that grows stuff like periphyton and protists and ciliates and flagellates and other kinds of very small microbes, and those are very important. People often overlook that aspect of the ecosystem, but if you're making a microcosm and an ultra low maintenance, and that's, you're going for an ecology based ultra low maintenance, you're basically going to be making a miniature ecosystem. Like I said, I've only changed this water once. It's 4 months old. I feed the shrimp every couple weeks. because they can scavenge the biofilm. I dose it maybe once every month and a half with nitrogen and phosphorus, not really for the plants, because I have bacteria in there for the plants that will recycle the decomposing plant matter and redeposit those nutrients into the system. Nitrogen and phosphorus is so that I ensure that those are available to the bacteria, because bacteria use a lot of that, and I need them to be functioning for my ecosystem to function. The substrate is the backbone, and the bacteria. Another thing why this is a very balanced system, I believe, is the diversity in plants. I believe I have 6 or 7 different kinds of plants in here. I have a lot stuffed back here, actually, that you can't see, because light hits that and it's just kind of like a wall of plants. I also have very porous volcanic rock, and this is going to hold a lot of bacteria, so that my surface area on top on this, what is called a benthic layer, if this was a lake, is extremely high. It's very, very high surface area. And this adds a lot of surface area too. I might have a part 2, but I'm running out of